Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. Texans vs. Jaguars. Sunday's matchup between the Houston Texans, 7-5, and Jacksonville Jaguars, 2-9, offers two teams heading in opposite but equally troubling directions. Despite holding a two-game lead in the AFC South, the Texans are barely clinging to their division title hopes after losing 4 of their last 6 games. Meanwhile, the Jaguars, mired in a dismal 2-9 record, look to salvage any semblance of pride in a season full of heartbreakingly close defeats. Houston opened the season looking like a legitimate playoff threat behind a red-hot C.J. Stroud, but the shine has worn off their rookie quarterback. Over the past month, Stroud has thrown 5 interceptions in 3 games, a troubling stat considering he threw just 4 in his entire rookie campaign. His completion percentage has also dipped to 56% over his last 4 outings, showing signs of a quarterback struggling to adjust as defenses tighten up. For Jacksonville, the season has been defined by near misses. 6 of their 9 losses have been by 5 points or fewer, including 3 in their current 4-game skid. Trevor Lawrence's expected return after missing time with injury could inject some life into an offense that struggled mightily under Mac Jones. While Lawrence's numbers, 61% completion, 11 TDs, 6 INTs, don't jump off the page, his presence alone is a significant upgrade. The odds makers have set a modest total of 43.5 points, but that feels low given the circumstances. Houston and Jacksonville are both coming off some of their worst defensive performances of the year, allowing a combined 84 points last week. Stroud's slump aside, he's facing a Jaguars secondary ripe for a breakout performance. Meanwhile, Lawrence's return should elevate Jacksonville's offense against a Texans unit that just allowed 32 points to Tennessee. Both teams have a penchant for playing tight games. The Texans have seen 9 of their 12 contests decided by a single score, while 6 of Jacksonville's losses fall into the same category. With that in mind, I'm taking the Jaguars to cover the +4 spread at home. A rejuvenated Lawrence should keep things close, but the Texans' slight edge in overall talent makes them the likely victors in a nail-biter. My team pick is Jaguars +4 points, and my total pick is over 43.5 points. Expect a high-scoring, competitive game that might not solve either team's long-term issues, but should deliver plenty of drama for fans and bettors alike. Cardinals vs. Vikings. This week's matchup features 2 teams on opposing streaks, but with plenty to prove, as they both eye playoff spots in a tightly contested NFC. The Arizona Cardinals, 5-6, have fought back from a rough start to win 4 of their last 5, but their playoff hopes are still on life support. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Vikings, 9-3, enter this one having won 4 straight and looking to extend their impressive home record. After a slow start, Arizona has been a much more competitive team lately, boasting a 4-1 record in their last 5 games. However, they've had their fair share of struggles on the road, 2-3, and this game could prove to be a tough one. Despite ranking 6th in the NFL in yards per play, the Cardinals' offense only averages 22 points per game, ranking 17th in the league. Kyler Murray has been the focal point, but he's yet to fully live up to the hype. With just 213 passing yards per game and 16 total touchdowns this season, Murray has shown flashes but hasn't been able to consistently elevate the offense. Minnesota has been one of the NFL's most complete teams this season, with a top 10 ranking in points per game, passing yards, and total yards. The Vikings have been rolling behind the efficient Sam Darnold. The quarterback has silenced critics this season, throwing for 21 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, while building a strong rapport with star receiver Justin Jefferson. The Vikings are also getting solid contributions from their running back committee, with Aaron Jones providing a spark in the backfield. The Vikings have been nearly unbeatable at home this season, boasting a 4-1 record at US Bank Stadium. Arizona, on the other hand, has struggled to perform on the road. The head-to-head matchup history also favors Minnesota, who have won 6 straight games at home against Arizona and hold a 7-3 record in their last 10 meetings. With the Vikings' defensive dominance, particularly in stopping the run, and Arizona's offensive inconsistencies, Minnesota should be able to cover the minus 3.5 spread with relative ease. Given both teams' strong defensive performances this season, especially the Vikings' ability to shut down the run, it's tough to see this game becoming a shootout. Arizona's offense has been inefficient at times, especially on the road, and the Vikings have been able to keep opponents under 20 points regularly. Arizona has hit the under in 6 of their last 10 games, and the Vikings have done the same in 6 of their last 10. With these two teams both ranking in the top 10 in points allowed and Minnesota's ability to limit rushing yards, I'm leaning toward a low-scoring affair. Take the under on 47 total points. Predictions. Spread: Minnesota minus 3.5 points. Total: under 47 points. The Vikings' defense, combined with a methodical offense, should be too much for a Cardinals team that's still trying to find consistency on the road. Seahawks vs. Jets. This game promises to be a grind, as both teams are struggling offensively and relying heavily on their defenses to keep them in contention. The Seattle Seahawks, 6-5, come into this game tied for first in the NFC West, but have been inconsistent at times, especially in their running game. The New York Jets, 4-7, have been hit hard by injuries and have now lost 2 straight, but their defense remains elite. Seattle's offense ranks 13th in total yards per game, largely due to Geno Smith's solid play under center, throwing for over 3,000 yards this season. Smith has been efficient, averaging 7.6 yards per attempt, with top receivers like Jackson Smith-Njigba and DK Metcalf offering consistent downfield threats. However, the run game has been a glaring weakness, ranking 28th in the league with just 89.1 yards per game. Kenneth Walker III has been unable to establish much of a rhythm, and the offensive line, despite new additions, is still working on cohesion. The Jets' defense continues to be their strong suit, ranking among the top 10 in yards allowed. With Quinnen Williams anchoring the defensive line, they've been able to generate solid pressure, accumulating 26 sacks. Sauce Gardner and the secondary are also playing at a high level, limiting opposing quarterbacks to under 220 passing yards per game. However, the defense has shown some vulnerability against the run, allowing over 120 rushing yards per game, which could play into Seattle's offensive strategy. This game looks set to be a defensive slugfest. Both teams struggle on third down, ranking in the bottom half of the league in third down conversion rates, which often leads to stalled drives. Additionally, both teams have issues in the red zone, converting less than 55% of their opportunities into touchdowns. These inefficiencies suggest that every possession will matter, making it difficult for either team to get into a rhythm offensively. Seattle's inability to run the ball consistently plays into the Jets' defensive strengths, which excel at neutralizing the run and forcing teams to pass. If the Jets can generate pressure on Geno Smith, limiting big plays and forcing him to throw under duress, they'll have a strong shot at keeping this game close. Prediction. Spread: New York plus 2.5 points. Total: under 42.5 points. With both offenses struggling, this is shaping up to be a low-scoring, tight game where both defenses dominate. The Jets' elite defense and Seattle's inability to establish the run will keep the game close, and the under seems like a safe bet given the offensive inefficiencies. The Jets may not win outright, but they should be able to cover the spread in a game that comes down to the wire.